morning. Calling to order the regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the Golden Rain Foundation of Laguna Woods, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation. It's Tuesday, November 4th, and it's 9:30 in the morning. We're here in the Community Center on El Toro Road. Purpose of this meeting is to conduct the regular Golden Rain Foundation Board meeting in accordance with Civil Code 4930 and was hereby noticed in accordance with Civil Code 4920. We do have a quorum present this morning, and Director Collins, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? All stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any other media present other than the eye in the sky that sees and records everything that happens? Guess not. Thank you. Okay. Approval of the agenda. Is there any objection to the agenda as posted? Hearing none, agenda is approved. We have minutes from 3 prior meetings, and I would ask if there are any objections to the minutes of October 7th. No. Hearing none, minutes are approved. Are there any objections or changes to October 16th minutes? Hearing none, approved. And minutes of October 17th, meet the candidates. Any objections to those minutes? Hearing none, approved. Okay, report of the chair. With Halloween and the change of the clock, it signals the start of the holiday season. And we go from Halloween to Veterans Day to Thanksgiving to pre-Christmas events, then to Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, to the New Year. Well, here in the village, you have a grand choice of ways to celebrate, with friends and tastings and feasts and concerts, club parties, dinner dances, music, dance, arts and crafts sales, special events for every preference. If you go to one of the clubhouses, you will see lots and lots of flyers about special events from clubs and from the recreation department. Now, this is part of the services that are provided from your GRF monthly fees. So I would urge you to go pick up some flyers for things that appeal to you and invite friends and family to join you in some of these things. Make plans to celebrate. Make sure you pick up your tickets early. So that you get what you want when you want it. And we have these special things to offer for you, and I really urge everybody to take advantage and book now so you don't miss out. And with that, that happy note, I hope you will do a visit to those clubhouses and get your plans made for the holidays. At this time, I'd like to call for the report of the CEO, Siobhan Foster.
Actually, ma'am, we have the El Toro Water District here to speak first before me today.
Okay,
And
Dennis Rafferty. Yeah.
Mr.
Dennis Rafferty is here. He's the general manager of El Toro Water District. And boy, would you miss those people immediately if they didn't keep providing the services. So Dennis, welcome, and tell us what's going on.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you very much. Again, Dennis Rafferty, general manager of El Toro Water District. Normally, I would have Hannah Ford, our Director of Engineering, to make this presentation. Unfortunately, she is currently serving as juror number 5 in a Santa Ana courthouse, so I don't know when I get her back. Yeah. So today you get me. I've worked very closely with her on the project, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Next slide, please. So the Aliso Creek Lift Station project is a really important project as we continue in our ongoing efforts to invest in the infrastructure on which the service that we provide to the community absolutely depends. So today we'll talk about the project itself. We'll talk a little bit about the really unavoidable impacts of a construction project on the community and our efforts to try and mitigate them, and then talk a little bit about where we think we need to go from here. Next slide, please. So when we say lift station, what a lift station basically is a sewer pump station. So our wastewater collection system consists of gravity pipelines, but given the topography of our service area, they flow to a low point, then they have to get pumped essentially over a hill, at which point they flow by gravity again, ultimately on its way to our wastewater treatment plant. We have 11 different sewer lift stations in our service area. The green lines that you see on the screen are all of the gravity pipelines. There's some kind of pink or red colored lines that are what we call force mains. That's the pressurized pipeline coming out of a pump station, at which point then it'll discharge into the gravity system again, ultimately on its way to the wastewater treatment plant. The area outlined in red is all of the area that drains by gravity to the Aliso Creek lift station, most of which is United. In fact, really all of United, with the exception of the small area on the north side of El Toro Road, is served by this lift station. So it's really important to this community. Next slide, please. Again, the way the system works, there's two upstream lift stations, 4920, which is also in United, and then Mathis, which is just outside of the community on the other side of Paseo de Valencia. Both pump and then flow by gravity to Aliso Creek. And then, as you can see, the Aliso Creek station is what ultimately delivers it to our wastewater plant. It is one of our two biggest sewer lift stations, and it's a really important part of the overall wastewater system and certainly an important part of the service we provide, especially to United. Next slide, please. The Aliso Creek lift station was built in 1966. It is now approaching 60 years old. Much of the equipment has exceeded its useful service life. One of the other problems we have is as we deal with kind of changing dynamics, weather patterns are different than they used to be. We see more intense storms. And so while the sewer system is not designed or intended to be a storm drain system, there is unavoidable infiltration into the sewer system when we get really significant storm events, either flooded streets, water coming in through manholes, or saturated ground where water might get into the joints in the pipeline. So we do see elevated flows during wet weather events. And so making sure that the station has the capacity to deal with that is critically important to its overall reliability, in addition to making sure that as the pumps get older, their capacity declines. And so these pumps need to be replaced. The overall station, at over 60 years old now, basically needs to be completely rehabilitated. What you see on the picture on the kind of bottom right is the access to the site, which goes right across the upper Aliso Creek Trail. Not ideal, as we try to make sure that as we get in there with equipment, just during normal maintenance, that we're not impacting pedestrians and things like that. It is, as the name might imply, the Aliso Creek lift station. It's on Avenida Sevilla, right next to Aliso Creek, meaning that if something goes wrong at this station, if it fails and wastewater overflows, it's in the creek like that, something that we simply cannot let happen from an environmental standpoint. The other things you see on the surface, we have an electrical room, we have a generator, but most of this lift station is actually underground. We have what we call a wet well, which is a concrete vault structure to which the sewer gravity lines flow into, and that wastewater is collected in the wet well, and that's where we pump it out. In this station, we also have what we call a dry well, which is a underground structure where the pumps are. But all of that equipment is getting older and needs to be dealt with. Next slide, please. So what we're proposing to do is invest over $9 million in rehabilitating this facility. Now let me say something really important. When I say we're going to spend $9 million on this pump station, though I've mentioned it primarily benefits United, this project is being paid for by the El Toro Water District. We do not bill United, we do not bill GRF, we do not bill any individual segment of our service area for projects like this. It is something that the district, in its overall portfolio of capital investment and all of our infrastructure, will pay for through our normal rates and charges. Nothing else but that. But it's a pretty significant investment in the infrastructure. What we're proposing to do, first of all, again, I mentioned the access. You see on the bottom right hand where we kind of square it off and move the access to the site over to the left. So we'll come in through a driveway off of Avenida Sevilla. Much safer in terms of how we access the site and how we maintain the site than the current. We'll build a new, where it says new lift station, that's basically a new wet well that we're going to build in the kind of front right of that, and actually put the pumps in the wet well. That's how we normally do it now with submersible pumps, as opposed to the current configuration. A new electrical room, a new generator, all of which are designed to bolster the reliability of this critical facility. Next slide, please. From an aesthetic standpoint, this station is going to look a lot nicer when we're done than it does now. That gate, I will be the first to admit, is not a pretty sight on the left there. We're going to, again, square off the front corner and put in a new access gate that will be a different material and much better in appearance than what you have out there now. One of the other things that we're doing as part of the project, we met with VMS staff during the early part of design to talk about what we're doing, talking about some of the construction impacts. And one of the things that was requested is, hey, this 6-foot high wall doesn't really screen the facility very well. Is it possible to make the wall higher? So we've already incorporated that into the design. The new wall will be 8 feet high, which you can see in the rendering will do a much better job of kind of screening the facilities inside the station. The other thing we're doing, only part of the wall needed to be removed and replaced. So we could have left the existing wall, and then you'd see kind of a patchwork of old wall, new wall. We're just going to replace the entire perimeter wall. So again, from an aesthetic standpoint, it'll look a lot nicer. Next slide, please. And this is just another view from another, kind of looking from across the street. The other thing that we'll do during construction, obviously, there'll be some trees that'll have to come out as we implement the project. When we're done, those trees will be replaced, and they will be replaced with mature trees. That was a question we got at the United M&C Committee. It's not going to be little seedlings that we'll put in, and 20 years from now, they'll look nice. We'll put in trees to make sure the site looks better than it does once we got there. Next slide, please. We are trying to get way out in front of this project in order to, we're in the final stages of design now and are trying to finalize that so we have certainty in what we're planning to build. But the other thing that we're doing is, as we do across the board, it is really hard to find grant money in this day and age. But we have what we think is a reasonable opportunity to secure some grant money for this project. And if we can do that, potentially it goes through the Federal Emergency Management Agency and Hazard Mitigation Program. And because of the improvement of this facility relative to handling especially extreme storm events, it has the potential that we could get as much as 75% of the funding for the project. Potential. We are actively pursuing it. Hannah, our Director of Engineering, has done all of the pre-application work. We're meeting with California's Office of Emergency Services to review the project. If they deem it worthy, they forward it to FEMA. That won't happen until 2026, and then FEMA takes 2 years to decide if they're going to give us any money. That creates a significant delay in the project. So we are keeping the existing facility as reliable as we can. One of the things that was on one of the previous slides was an emergency pump that we have staged at the site, so if something goes wrong, we can react immediately. But we're talking about several $1 million worth of potential money that would really help with the implementation of this project. Now, I want to be very clear. If we do not get that grant money, this project goes forward anyways. It is budgeted. The grant money really allows us to divert money to other very important infrastructure projects, but this is a critical project that will happen whether we get the grant money or not. We just have to wait for them to make that decision. If we do anything in terms of awarding construction or starting any work, we're no longer eligible. So we wait until 2028 to actually bid the project. And then it takes another year once we've awarded to actually get all of the equipment. It takes forever to get stuff these days, generators and pumps and whatnot. So we're probably actually talking about construction sometime in mid to late 2030. We're here now because, again, that certainty of what we're going to do is really important as we finalize the design, because we can't pivot later if something changes significantly. So we really want to make sure we're all on board on what we need to do. Next slide, please. So, as I mentioned before, there are unavoidable impacts during construction that we're working really hard to try and mitigate. One, and we're really focused on safety. Having a sidewalk right in front of this active construction site would be of significant concern. So what we're asking is the ability to close the sidewalk from the kind of walkway on the left side of the residence and all the way to the trail. And then what we would do is stripe a crosswalk across Avenida Sevilla in 2 places, so it provides a very local and very easy detour around the construction site for any pedestrian. So pretty simple to do, and then it keeps people away from the potential safety issues in front of that active construction site. Next slide, please. This is a really tight site, and there's no place for us to store any kind of construction material, even the access where there are pipeline connections we'll have to make where we have to get into the street. And so what we're going to request is the ability, we recognize first and foremost, this road cannot close. It is absolutely essential to keep the road active, especially for the residents on the other side of Aliso Creek. So we're not asking to close the road, we're asking to take 12 feet of the road that we can use as part of the construction project, and then we would restripe Avenida Sevilla to provide 2-way traffic with 12-foot lanes, which is more than what there is now, actually. If there were cars parked on either side, it's actually 10-foot lanes. Right. So 12-foot each way, which provides 2-way traffic for residents as well as for emergency vehicles. The downside, of course, is it means nobody could park in that specific area. And we did hear from United that there is some concern about that, so we'd have to work with staff to try and make sure that we could figure out where adequate parking could be for the residents and very clearly communicate that well in advance of construction so everybody knew exactly what was going on. But we would basically restripe the road so that you had that two-way traffic for both residents as well as emergency vehicles. Next slide, please. The other big issue is Upper Aliso Creek Trail. We very much recognize this is a very popular trail, but it is also immediately adjacent to this construction site. And there are going to be times when we're building the new wet well, when we're building the electrical building, that we're going to have equipment on the trail. And so what we're proposing is closing the trail only during work hours. So while we're out there actively working, the contractor would take their construction fence and move it out to close the trail. And then at the end of their workday, and these guys tend to start early and finish early after, mid-afternoon, let's say, maybe 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, something like that. They move the fencing back to the perimeter of the existing site to open the trail up. So every late afternoon, early and evening, the trail's open. Every weekend, the trail is open. So we'd try to make it as accessible as possible, but again, to provide for construction access as well as safety, close it during the actual work hours is what we would propose. Next slide, please. This kind of shows if we do that, the yellow line is basically kind of detour for golf carts and maintenance vehicles. And then within that, there's kind of a dotted blue line that shows how pedestrians could work their way around without traveling the trail itself. So not perfect, I admit, but something that for the period of construction, again, about a year, we hope would be manageable to get this thing done as efficiently as possible and as safely as possible. Next slide, please. So where we're at now, we've completed our compliance work with the CEQA, or the California Environmental Quality Act. We did what's called a mitigated negative declaration, defining everything it needs to do to mitigate any potential environmental impacts. That was done and adopted back in May. We've already presented to the GRF M&C Committee, the United M&C Committee. We're here today, and then we'll be at United's board meeting next month. All within an effort to try and get to a point where we can start to document agreement on what we're proposing or whatever interactive process there might be to get to something that everybody can agree to, hopefully by the end of the year. So what we would do is start to generate in writing, here's what we propose, conditions, terms, whatever is necessary that ultimately would be in written documents that would at some point come back to the board here for consideration as we go through that kind of process. So that's really where we're hoping to go. Next slide, please. So again, to sum up, and I tried to go fast. We did this a much longer version of it at the committee meeting, but we were asked to kind of keep this one a little briefer. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. But again, I can't emphasize enough how important this project is to our system and to especially United, who depends on this station for its wastewater service. We are doing everything we can to try and mitigate the impacts as much as we can. There's things that, and one of the things we didn't get into here, but we talked about in the committee meetings is even during construction, what we can do to try and mitigate noise. And there's going to be some bypass pumping that we're going to have to do, that there will be specific requirements on what pumps they can use and how they contain them so that it doesn't have any more, we can mitigate the noise to a reasonable level. So there's all kinds of things like that. We get the fact that this is a challenging project. There's residents right next to the site and across the street, and we're trying to do everything we can to accommodate the needs during the construction project. And then, like I said, what we're hoping to do is, with your permission, at least start generating draft language of agreements that we can work with staff on to get to a point where it is something that would be in a position that we could then, or they could then bring back to the board for consideration. So that's kind of the project as quick as I can make it. I very much appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk about it. I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
This is community input time for Dennis. So questions, concerns, worries? Marie?
Hi, thank you for coming. As I've always told you, I think El Toro Water District is the best I've ever observed. I appreciate what y'all are doing. I didn't quite catch what were the negative impacts that we're trying to overcome right now in order to get the Money?
Well, the negative impacts of the construction.
Yeah, what are we trying to
So
overcome?
what we're recognizing the impacts of construction to the community in terms of, basically from a safety standpoint, we're trying to mitigate by closing the sidewalk and the trail. That's the challenging one because we know people use that trail a lot. So trying to keep it
Okay.
accessible during the evening and weekends as much as we can. So that's what we're trying to. I mean, the overall importance of the project is just to ensure the reliability of the service.
So basically, it's just what you were talking about now, that you've been figuring out a different way to go around it and 12 feet to go in and keep it running. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Others? Yes, Ellen?
I saw dates up there where it said you were going to finish it like maybe in 2031. So I'm a little confused about the dates. And then you had set, a slide showed you're going to start at the end of next year to move the striping and, okay, so I'm just a little confused as to dates.
Okay, thank you for that. So again, the timing is really dictated by this grant approval process. If it wasn't for the grant approval process, we would probably be taking this project out to bid early next year as we finalize everything. But it's too much money to not try to be patient and wait for. I mean, it's several $1 million. So that's what drives when we would actually start the work. Awarding a construction contract likely in 2028, taking a good year to get the equipment. So as far as the striping and everything like that, we would not do that until we're actually on site for construction. So that wouldn't happen until for several years, like only during the active construction process.
Others? Yes, Kush?
Thank you, Dennis, for this. Sounds really well planned and organized. Looking at long range, we had to do this now, 60 years later. After you do what you do you perceive how long in the future will we have to do something again?
I don't anticipate having to do anything this dramatic there again for many, many years to come. I mean, the goal would be that with what we're doing, that we'll have ongoing maintenance of some of the mechanical equipment, but major structural modifications like we're doing now, I wouldn't anticipate having to do for, hopefully ever. But again, it's just, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. The concrete structures should last. This is a different design that would hopefully perform better and have better longevity than the existing one did. We're putting in submersible pumps, which is pretty standard for our sewer lift stations, and that's something that should last for, I would expect it to last longer than the 60 years we're talking about on this.
Fabulous. That's good. Thank you.
Others? Other comments, questions for Dennis? Okay, well, thank you so much. This is an exciting program, and I love to see these century-long values coming out here because they're so critical for our community. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very
and
much.
We will work closely through VMS on any issues that come up from. So United is next, right?
Yes.
Next week.
We've been to
Next
their
week.
MNC committee, and then we're
Tuesday.
I think we're both going to be doing a board meeting, and they've asked us to come to a town hall as well. So we're going to be planning to do that as well.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, Siobhan?
Thank you, Honorable President, members of the board. It's my privilege this morning to give you some updates as they affect the community. First off, I want to remind everyone today is Election Day. If you haven't voted, there's a ballot drop box at Laguna Woods City Hall, and that's open until 8 p.m. tonight. And there's also a vote center there if you want to vote in person, and it's open till 8 o'clock this evening. I also want to follow up on President Bach's comments about adjusting to the time change. We experience this every fall where we fall back, but it can cause some impacts to people's well-being, disruption of body's natural sleep-wake rhythms, sleep disturbances and fatigue, and so forth. So we want to remind everyone that social services is available. They're located here in the community center, and they can also be reached by telephone at 949-597-4267 or by the website at the address shown on the screen before you. And again, social services is here to help our residents. Please avail yourself to that if you're having any problems with this or any other needs, and everything is confidential. There will be a Veterans Day ceremony honoring those who served our nation on Tuesday, November 11th. This will be from 11 a.m. to noon in the Clubhouse 2 Sequoia Ballroom. Program highlights include performances by Kathy Raff, tributes by guest speakers, colors presented by the American Legion Post 257, and light refreshments. And we all thank everyone who has served our country. I also want to share a reminder about holiday decorations. As President Bach alluded to, we're moving into the holiday months. Decorations placed on common area turf impact our ability to mow. Crews will avoid mowing within 1 foot of decorations, so that could lead to an aesthetic issue. Mowing weeks are November 10th and November 24th. Please do not place decorations on or in trees to allow safe trimming and maintenance to occur. Trimming crews face delays and safety issues when decorations are present. If you have any questions, please contact Resident Services. Coyote awareness on our website. There's a new coyote awareness and reporting page at lagunawoodsvillage.com. As you know, coyotes are part of our local environment, and sightings may occur year-round. Learn how to stay safe, protect pets, and report activity. Find guidance from the City of Laguna Woods and Animal Services, including when to call Laguna Beach Animal Services or 911, tips for preventing coyote encounters, and what do you do if you see a coyote, And that reporting page is shown on the address on the screen before you. In terms of Ting construction updates, this is our fiber to the home project. Crews are currently working in zones 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, and 11. This covers the southwest area of our community near gates 1, 3, and 4. Residents may notice building pre-wiring, vault placement, and fiber pulling to prepare infrastructure. In the next 30 to 60 days, work will expand to zones 5 and 13. This is near gates 2 and 5, and that is the northeast area of our community. Crews will work efficiently to minimize disruptions. Ting appreciates everyone's patience during this exciting process and movement towards a more reliable connectivity throughout our community. For anyone who needs to contact Ting, you can reach out to tinginternet.com/Laguna Woods Village or email Laguna Woods Village Construction at ting.com, and Ting will endeavor to get back to you as soon as possible. I would like to conclude by highlighting the recent Employee Excellence Award recipients. These awards are presented yearly in spring and fall, recognizing outstanding employees who demonstrate excellent customer service, achieve great results on projects, and regularly go above and beyond their regular job duties. The Employee Excellence recipients are from the Maintenance and Construction Department, Sandra Spencer, Administrative Assistant, who is recognized for her exemplary performance and unwavering dedication to providing excellent customer service. Zarina Lavello, Administrative Coordinator, whose positive energy and consistent can-do attitude elevate the performance and morale of everyone around her. And Joycelyn Flores Castillo, Damage Restoration Operations Specialist, whose manager commented that it is refreshing to see an employee work so hard to ensure residents are well taken care of and receive the level of service they deserve. From our Recreation and Special Events Department, Kenneth Fry. He's a Recreation Facilities Technician at Clubhouse 4. Kenneth is highly motivated to investigate, research, and resolve equipment upkeep and repair solutions. Ryan Vigil, Recreation Services Specialist at Clubhouse 3, was recognized for his exceptional performance, professionalism, and dedication to our team and community. From Social Services, Frances Roberts, a social worker, was recognized for her empathy, integrity, and dedication, making a lasting impact within the department and among the residents she serves. Landscaping Services recognized Jose Almonte, Gardener 2, who goes the extra mile to accomplish tasks. Interactions with customers are excellent and always ensures that they are satisfied with the work completed. Jose Tero Salinas, Gardener 2, was recognized for his outstanding dedication, can-do attitude, excellent customer service, and willingness to help his peers. Carlos Cortez Montes, tree trimmer technician, whose skills and reliability stand out every day, coupled with his professionalism and commitment, make him invaluable to our community. And Carlos Vicab, landscape foreman, who embodies excellent customer service with deep knowledge of operations and strong communication skills, and always puts team success first. And lastly, but not least, our general services broadband team was recognized. This team has more than 125 cumulative years of maintaining the community cable and internet system. And obviously, they're usually called out in the middle of the night or on holidays when the services go down. They were key in locating conduit for the Fiber to Home project and are partnering with Ting during the rollout. And these members of the team are listed on the screen before you, and they're headed by Paul Ortiz. So I ask on my last slide if you can share with me a hearty congratulations to the 16 team members recognized during our event. Thank you, and that concludes my update this morning.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we rely on these people and thank them from the bottom of our hearts for their dedication and long service. Many of them have many, many years with us in the community and are extremely valuable players. So take a step back in Siobhan's report about fiber to the home installation. I had the exciting privilege of shadowing a Ting installation into a residence manor last Friday. And it was very interesting because, as you know, over 12,700 and some manors and homes have to be electrified or fiber structured, as well as the clubhouses and offices. And the technicians in this particular installation were very, very helpful and informative. But they noted that there's almost no cookie cutter installation. Every installation is different because we are an old community, 60-some years old. There have been a lot of alterations and changes in manners. There's no one standard format, so they are constantly adjusting to circumstances that they find in the manners. So when your turn comes, be patient, be ready for them, and please acknowledge that that they're dealing all the time with being flexible and adaptable to the situations that they find. So thank you. And now we'll go to open forum, 3 minutes per speaker. At this time, members only may address the Board of Directors regarding items not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of this Board of Directors. The Board reserves the right to limit the total amount of time allotted to open forum to 30 minutes. A member may speak only once during the forum. Speakers may not give their time to other people. No audio or video recording by attendees. No rude or threatening comments. And you can attend this on Zoom or email in if you have a message to read. And do we have any member comments? Okay.
Yes, we have, let's see, 4 or 5 in person and then 1 email that I'll read after.
Okay.
The first is Dorothy Pacella.
Madam Chair, before we go much further, can I just make one small announcement?
Yes.
This is important. Since we are congratulating all the staff, I also want to say thank you to our outgoing board members. This would probably be the last board meeting for them, Andy and Egon, and they're not standing for re-election, so I want to thank you for your participation, your hard work and dedication, and truly appreciate everything that you guys have done to help us resolve many issues. Thank you. There are 2 other people who are, thank you, we'll clap all together. 2 other board members who are standing for re-election, and we wish them all the best so they can get re-elected and we see them again. Thank you. Okay, maybe we can clap now.
Okay. Member comments, Dorothy.
Okay.
Hi, Dorothy.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dorothy Pacella, and I'm a trustee with the History Center. Excuse me. And on behalf of the History Center, we're going to continue to educate the community on the history of our wonderful village. So that's why I'm here today. One of my favorite stories when we talk about the village is when our founder, Ross Cortese, was planning our village. He wanted it to make an active community for retirees. So interestingly enough, he partnered with USC and the School of Gerontology to make sure that when he built this community, it would be as thriving as it would be for the residents. So he did that, and that became his plan. And it wasn't just hammers and nails and floor plans. It was exactly what we should have with the amenities that we now enjoy. So it includes our clubhouses and our golf courses and our clubs and the social component of what we have in terms of the interaction of everyone that buys here and lives here and thrives here. So that's how he built us, and that's how it became. So as years passed with people living in the village, believe it or not, the National Institute of Health in Washington, D.C. heard about us and thought, what's going on out there? They're doing pretty good out there in Orange County. Let's see what they're doing. So believe it or not, they came out and studied us. And they determined that, in truth, we were really living active, healthy lives, and we were living longer. And they came to the conclusion that if you lived in Laguna Woods Village, you would live 10 years longer than the national average. 10 years. Gift with purchase of your home. And so with that, it has become our legacy. And as a result of that, UCI came and validated that number. So it's always fun to share this with prospective villagers, and we want them to fill those extra 10 years with activity. But wait, there's more. I just met a very special lady, and she is so special. I asked her, she's a resident, and I said, how long have you lived here? Or first off, what brought you to the village? And she said, my husband retired from the National Institute of Health. And when he retired, they moved to the village. I said, great. How long ago was that? And she said, 31 years. I said, oh my goodness. How old are you? She goes, 99. She is now my new poster child for the History Center because, Ross, it works. So anyway, thank you for your time. Thank you for your guidance and leadership. And thank you for letting us speak to you today, and particularly everything that you do for the village every day. Thank you very much.
Hey, Dorothy. Ooh.
Next speaker is Chris Collins.
Chris Collins, 3306Q. Good morning. I'm here with an update of the work done by the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village, which we do on behalf of residents who are experiencing temporary financial crisis. Please repeat, I couldn't hear you. How many times have we heard that? Are you the one having difficulty hearing? Is lack of money holding you back from getting hearing aids? New funding recently became available to help Laguna Woods Village purchase hearing aids if personal finances were the problem. The Foundation of Laguna Woods Village was one of 138 nonprofit agencies out of 1,004 applicants chosen to receive a $50,000 in special grant funding from the Samueli Foundation's Breakaway Fund this October. With these grant funds, the Foundation is thrilled to be able to provide expanded benefits to village residents. If you believe you can benefit from this new program, please follow these steps. Step 1, do you have a hearing loss and think hearing aids will help? If so, you need to find out through a hearing screening or test. Several options are available. For example, if you're an AARP member, you can take a phone-based hearing test for free once a year. The website of the Hearing Loss Association of America, OC chapter, provides a link to a free online hearing test. It's hearinglosscalifornia.org. Many health insurance programs cover the cost of a hearing screening or test to your primary care physician can do that preliminary screening. Costco provides hearing tests for its members and offers reasonable priced hearing aids. Step 2, do you have the financial resources to pay for hearing aids? If not, the next step is to contact Laguna Woods Social Services, which is 949-597-4267, to make an appointment to find out whether you qualify for financial assistance from the foundation and to verify insurance if applicable. However, please note that you may be eligible for financial assistance even with health insurance that provides some hearing and benefits. You must be a Laguna Woods resident to participate in this program. So treating hearing loss is essential. Untreated hearing loss can increase the risk of dementia, cause social isolation, decrease mental sharpness, and affect balance. We can help. So for more information about the hearing aid financial assistance, please contact Social Services at 949-597-4267 or the foundation at foundationlagunawoodsvillage@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Next speaker is Juanita Skillman.
Good morning, all. I am here with your monthly library report. Volunteers, and I remind you all that everybody at the library is a volunteer. We have no paid staff. Worked 801 hours to support 2,168 residents in October. 2,374 items were circulated through our front desk, and 42 residents were added to our catalog computer. Now, everybody's resident card is their library card, but the first time they come to the library, need to register it with our computer. Today, I'd like to take just a minute to encourage people to take a look at something that don't just come in for books or DVDs or paperbacks or even puzzles. Look at our reading room. We have a lovely reading room right in the center of the library with comfortable chairs and tables. We have many people who come in every day to do puzzles at our tables. We also have people who come in with their laptops to use our Wi-Fi and do all kinds of work. They set up a little office at one of our tables in the back. So we have many different facilities at the library. And if you haven't been there, shame on you. But otherwise, welcome back. Thank you.
Next speaker is Mary Joyce Domingo. Looks like she might not be here. All right, so then the final in-person speaker is Cheryl Finnick.
I believe in volunteering, and I volunteer all the time. And that's why I've been a resident for about 13 years, 14 years here, and my parents before that. So I was offered the opportunity to be a Ting ambassador. I was really excited because I truly believe in the fiber optics and bringing our community into the 21st century. Plus, I'm a teacher, instructor, and so I went ahead and did everything I could do to read anything about it, listen to Mr. Ortiz's lectures, and learned everything I could because I really felt that I could help our residents understand this very scary situation. And I believe I was successful because I went out to all the Ting meetings, spoke to hundreds of people, and even when I was when I was at a concert, I was somewhere else, and my neighbors are all anxious, I would butt in and say, listen, just like you saw yourself, Ms. Bach. So then Ting called a meeting last week to set us a training meeting. So we were all kind of perplexed, the ambassadors, and what we found out is they were training us about their new product line, which is a cell phone, which competes with Verizon and AT&T, such a thing. And I'm listening, and I'm thinking, I'm getting very uncomfortable about this thing. Was their product line vetted? Was it out for a bid? I was asked to do their product for the fiber optics. Well, why are they introducing the phone right now? So like I do usually when I don't understand something, I ask questions. So I asked the question, and I shared, I don't understand this. What, am I your salesperson for your for-profit line? And what does that have to do with fiber optics? Nobody really answered me except one of the forum members from Third Mutual said, look, I was in a conversation. They're not contracted for this, but it was discussed. So I asked the questions, and then the next time I saw the Ting representative, they were very cool to me. They didn't seem to be very happy with these questions. And then I get a call 2 days ago, and they questioned me, and they told me that my service was no longer needed. I said, is that because I asked a question? They couldn't say that. So I said, you know what, put it in writing. So I got an email, and it said, thank you for your service, never said why. Then I find out they sent an email to my colleagues and to say that I left, I decided to leave being a Ting ambassador, and they wished me the best. I don't know, guys. Then when I spoke to them, they said to me, oh, I work for them. I volunteer for them. I said, I beg your pardon. I volunteer for the village, and I promote your product. I don't promote you. That's not my job. I wouldn't have accepted from the get-go. You know what? I had called you, Miss Foster. You know, I don't know what goes behind. I know there's a lot of discussion going on. I appreciate that's why I ask questions. I'm very upset, as you can see, because it was not warranted, and I think Ting didn't handle this very well. When we come to a time when we can't ask questions, I think we're in a lot of trouble. So I leave it up to you. You decide what you want to do with this. Thanks.
Thank you, Cheryl. Okay. All right. Any replies to?
Oh, I'm
our
sorry.
speakers?
There's one email that
sorry.
I have to read.
Okay.
From member Jay Lessie. They stated, my name is Jay Lessie. I would ask that as you consider EV outlets, charging stations, and solar panels for the village, that you also consider the aesthetics. We don't want any more unsightly conduit and other hardware attached to and defacing our buildings. Such eyesores add up over the years, including cable TV lines tacked onto the walls in the 1970s, ongoing air conditioner conduit, etc. Please bury this paraphernalia in the walls or in the ground or conceal by any means possible. Put solar panels on flat roofs with parapet walls only so that the panels cannot be seen from the street and from the ground. Adding visible solar panels to the roofs along with the existing air conditioning condensers make this place look like an office park rather than an upscale residential community. Thank you for your consideration on this aesthetic matter. And that is all for open forum.
Okay. Thank you. Replies or responses to these or former questions from other meetings? Siobhan?
President Bach, of course, we will look into Ms. Fennick's situation, and I will provide you an update as well as Ms. Fennick.
Okay. Thank you. Is that suitable? Yes, thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Moving on to the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are recommended for action by committees and will be enacted by the board in one motion. In the event an item is removed from consent calendar by members of the board, such item will be the subject of further discussion and action by the board. The first one is recommendation from the Finance Committee. Second one is update of committee appointments. And then third is to accept Mutual 50's request to hold a special open corporate members meeting to amend the GRF bylaws to allow each mutual the ability to remove their GRF delegate director by a resolution approved by its board. The special corporate members meeting has been scheduled for Friday, January 9th at 9:30 in the morning. Do I have a motion to approve these three items on the consent calendar? Gary moves, second. You got 'em. Any objections? Hearing none. Consent calendar is approved. Next, unfinished business. There is none, but going on to new business. We have a motion to approve the trust facilities fee. This has been in November. Notifications will start today for the 28-day for member review and comments to comply with Civil Code 4360. Okay, and we have a staff report. Steve?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak. So before I get into the actual trust facility fee, if I may take a moment and just give some background in terms of overall GRFs, how they are calculated at a very, very, very high level, as well as timing of such. So with regards to GRF specifically, most of your fees are calculated based upon a fee recovery, right? So it's a percentage of the expenses that are budgeted over the course of the year. Therefore, for the upcoming year, 2026 in this instance, a lot of the fees are discussed early on in the budgetary process, but more importantly, the expenses are determined. Once we have a rough idea, or not more of a firm idea in terms of what the expenses are going to be, we begin having discussions in terms of how to proceed with the fees for the upcoming year. Therefore, oftentimes when we're creating the budgets, the fees have already been included because it's the calculation that repeats year after year, right? Once we input the expenses, then we know what the fees are going to be for the upcoming year. Once again, therefore, as a result, a lot of times your budgetary figures that you approve in September include the marked up fees, and then subsequently, now in the October-November timeframe is when you're actually going to be approving those fees. More or less a ratification is in essence what they are. The trust facilities fee is a little bit different. So in that we increase it every, say, 5 years approximately. Historically, that's how it's been. With regards to the fee, give you some history. The way the trust facilities fee is allowed, you are unique in that the GRF corporations in Laguna Woods Village, Seal Beach, as well as Rossmorp and Walnut Creek have the ability to charge the trust facilities fee. It's equivalent to, say, a private membership at a golf course. When individuals move into the community, they are buying into an existing facility with many, many amenities that are often different than a homeowner association outside this community, obviously. So many, many amenities here in the village. With regards to, again, the limitations, some of the reasons why other communities are unable to have a trust facility fee similar to what you have here is you've grandfathered into it. There is a requirement in the early 2000s that you had to have had this trust facility in place. You've had this trust facility in place for many, many years, I believe, going back into the founding days of the village. So, included in the staff report, I have a couple resolution dates from 79, from 83. You're able to see that the trust facility fee has increased at times and it's decreased at times. So back in 1979, your fee was approximately $3,000. Translated with inflation today, that's about $13,500 in today's dollars. So it's actually decreased a little bit, right? So, and then going back to your sister companies in Seal Beach, so Leisure World, they're charging $7,000 per person. So on average, basically double that, obviously, with regards to per manor. And then similarly with regards to Rossmorp and Walnut Creek. They're charging $13,500 in 2025, so $13,500, but it's scheduled to increase $500 annually. So, and that's something that is, again, different. Here we leave it set at a set rate for about 4 to 5 years, as opposed to they increase theirs annually. So for consideration. So today we're here making a recommendation to increase the fee. So right now your trust facility fee is based upon a threshold. Any sales at or above $150,000, and again, these details are in the staff report on page 3 of 8. So anything above the $150,000 mark is charged a fee of $7,500. Anything below $150,000 is charged $3,000. So the recommendation that we have here before you, staff recommends the board approve a resolution to increase the trust facility fee for properties sold. So at the threshold, we are recommending an increase at or above $200,000 sale price threshold. So the increase is from $7,500 to $10,000. And for properties below that $200,000 threshold, the fee be increased from $3,000 to $3,500. A little bit of background, that threshold that we have at $200,000, sales below that represents about 5% of your total sales within the community on an annual basis. Oftentimes, those are single bedroom manors in the towers. Beyond that, from a recommendation perspective, we're estimating that you're going to have sales to the tune of about 627 units in 2026. Of course, that may come up, that may be down, but that's our best estimate at this time. So when we came up with the budget for 2026, we estimated, again, 627 manners to be sold at $10,000 apiece, which represents almost about $6.3 million of revenue. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have then a resolution. Resolution is your blue tab, 12A. And Egon, as secretary, would you please read the resolution into the minutes, or selected parts thereof,
Okay.
because it's a long one.
Okay. Resolution 90-25-XX. Trust facilities fee from $7,500 to $10,000. Whereas as a trustee of the Golden Rain Foundation, the board of directors of the Golden Rain Foundation is required to maintain and improve the recreation and other amenities available to all residents of Laguna Woods Village, and whereas the board of directors finds that reinstatement of the capital contribution to the trust originally required to be made for each manor sold will ensure the continuation of the amenities that make Laguna Woods unique. Now therefore, be it resolved, December 2, 2025, that the trustee of the Golden Rain Foundation Trust, a declaration of trust recorded on March 6, 1964, the board will oppose a fee to be known as the Trust Facilities Fee in accordance with all terms and conditions contained in this policy statement, and the California and Civil Code of 4580 as amended by the Senate Bill 1128, Stats 2210, Chapter 32, Number 2, effective January 1, 2011, on all transactions involving purchase of separate interest in any trustor's common interest developments, United Laguna Woods Mutual, Third Laguna Woods Mutual, and Laguna Woods as an obligation of the purchasers, effective January 1, 2026, for the purpose of determining effective purchase contracts entered into on January 1, 2026, in which escrow opens before January 1, 2026, and closes before March 31, 2026, are deemed transactions occurring prior to the effective date. And resolve further, the trust facilities fee is a fixed amount as provided herein and determined from time to time by the trustee of the Golden Rain Foundation Trust. The entirety of each such fee, when and as paid by the purchaser, shall be deposited into the Trust Facilities Fund and shall be applicable to all such transactions. Okay, resolve further, effective with escrows opened or purchased, contracts signed on or after January 1, 2026, the trust facilities fee shall be set at $10,000 for units with sales price of $200,000 or higher, and $3,500 for units that sell below $200,000 until modified by the trustee, and resolve further in accordance with California Civil Code 4580, each new purchase of a separate interest in any trustor's common interest developments within the city of Laguna Woods, to which this trust facilities fee applies, i.e. new purchases other than transfers and qualifying and any other exclusions set forth by subparagraph 1-5 above, shall, in compliance with California Civil Code 4580, have the option of either pay the fee in its entirety at the time of the transfer, or pay the fee amount pursuant to the installation plan for a period of 7 years. Resolve further that the resolution 90-21-38 adopted October 5, 2021 is hereby superseded and canceled to the extent that it differs effective January 1, 2026, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. November initial notification. Should the board endorse this, the proposed resolution, staff recommends that the motion be made and seconded, except the resolution be allowed discussion to ensure that the resolution reads to the satisfaction of the board. Staff then recommends that a board member postpones the resolution for the next available board meeting no less than 28 days from the postponement to comply with Civil Code 4360. I offer this resolution.
Is there a second? Kush, you second? Okay, thank you. Discussion. Andy?
Oh, well, 6-month rule for transfers, where a current resident, current owner, just moves within the village within 6 months. Did I miss it? Is it here somewhere? I can't find the 6-month rule. Maybe it's me.
120 days.
That there's a safe harbor of
Right,
6 months.
there is a safe harbor, and that is not changed.
So I'm just wondering where it is. Okay, Steve.
Okay.
Right, I believe it is included, and it refers to the 180 days.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not changing from the previous
There is no change
requirement.
in that. Mhm.
Correct.
Okay.
Do we need to make reference to it or not? It just, it's come up in discussion. The realtors, sometimes there's a little tight on escrows, but when you look at the numbers, practically all the escrows have been closing within the 6-month window. So I think we've opted not to look at the 6-month
Yeah.
window
So
changing, but do we
that
need
is-
to reference it?
Do
That's
we
my
need to
question.
reference it, Steve?
You need to
or-
reference it? The answer is no. So we're purely looking at there's another resolution that goes into the intricacies of exceptions to the rules. So those details are included in there. Additionally, as we've discussed in the Finance Committee meeting, that those will be up for discussion at a later date as well.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you.
Jim?
I'd like to offer some alternate facts, and I think that's a political term. In 2012, the fee was $1,500. And $10,000 is six times that fee in 14 years. In that 14-year period, the inflation was 43%. We're increasing the fee 10 times faster than inflation. I said it before, I'll say it again. We're going to kill the golden goose. I don't think when the legislation gave us, grandfathered us into this, and gave us unlimited ability to raise the fees, that in 12 years we would raise at 600% against an inflation of 40%. We're going to kill the golden goose if we keep raising this way beyond what inflation is reflecting. I'll be honest with you, I don't know the rationale. I can't understand the rationale why in January 2018 we went from up to 5,000. January 22, 4 years later, we increased it 50% up to 7,500. On January 26, we want to raise it another 33% up to 10,000. We are getting carried away in trying to use the transfer fee to fill budgetary issues.
Other comments? Hearing none, I will call the vote. Are we voting on screen? Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Brad. I have your vote.
No?
Marie, do you just want to give
Just
me,
touch.
Marie, do you want to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Okay.
Alison,
Yes,
even though we have voted, I still want to ask a question to Steve.
not at this moment.
Okay.
Not at this moment, please. We have a motion that's
Okay.
in vote. We need to call the results, please.
Okay.
Results?
9-1, and I believe, yeah, and Martin's not here, so 9-1.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Kush, your comment?
Okay. About what Andy brought up, in case there is an issue with some buyer, seller, whoever, how will they be certain that we will follow what you just said?
Sure. So the community services team, led by Jeff Spies, is working with all the individuals that come through this process from an escrow perspective.
Okay.
He's digging through the details and making certain that they're being charged the appropriate fee.
So in case there is a small gap between the dates, they will ensure that they will follow what you just
Correct.
told us. Okay.
Yeah, they'll follow whatever the board approves.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right. At this time, we have a 5-minute break if you so desire, or we can press on with committee reports, since we have a relatively short agenda today. You want to press on with committee reports? Okay, and feel free to wander around as you so need. Okay, first committee report then is Finance Committee. Treasurer Genopio.
Okay, I guess I can't wander around. All right, here we go. The Finance Committee last met actually on October 27th, but the regular scheduled meeting was October 15th. The October 27th meeting was special. Our next meeting is December 17th at 1:30 p.m. in this room, and it's also virtual. All right, let's look at the report for the year-to-date, September year-to-date.
End of the third quarter, right?
Slide 1. This first table includes all revenues and expenses for operating reserves and restricted funds. Through the reporting period of September 30th, GRF had net revenues of $1.7 million with total revenue of $40.3 million and total expense of $38.6 million. GRF in total was under budget. That's unfavorable by $847,000, with revenue under budget by $1.3 million, offset by expenses coming in under budget by $504,000. Let's go on to slide 2. This next table displays the operating fund activities, which excludes non-operating revenues, expenses, and depreciation. That's the reserve side. This report shows an unfavorable variance of $87,000 through reporting period, with non-assessment revenues under budget by $343,000, combined with total expense under budget by $256,000. Let's move on to slide 3. This slide shows our most significant operating fund variances by category, with green bars representing favorable variances and orange bars representing unfavorable items. So as you can see, employee comp, as it typically has been running for the last several years, is running under budget. And this year, broadband services, because we're phasing over to Ting, we're losing revenue, and that's showing up. Cost allocations is a mechanical kind of thing, but it says that we're not allocating out as much as we thought. And then we have outside services, which to some degree is an offset of the lower employee comp cost. If you can't get it done in-house, you go out-house. So, and that's what we've done. All right, let's move on to explaining what the comp, employee comp and related was favorable by $546,000, primarily in general services and landscape. There were various open positions in general services, primarily in fleet maintenance. Open positions remain throughout the organization. Recruitment is in process. Repairs and maintenance was favorable by $151,000, primarily due to the timing of payment for various IT-related subscriptions and licensing for cybersecurity. Additionally, fleet maintenance switched bus engines from diesel to gasoline. Other operating expense was favorable by $150,000, primarily due to timing of staff support usage across various departments. Additionally, timing of planned staff training programs compared to the budget spread contributed to the favorable variance timing issue. Let's look at the other side. Offsetting unfavorable variance. Broadband services revenue was down unfavorable by $295,000, primarily due to revenue for set-top boxes continuing to be lower than anticipated as streaming becomes more popular amongst the community. This carries forward into the 26 plan, and it's a big number. It's like $500,000. So we're trying to replace it. Cost allocations were unfavorable by $310,000 due to fleet maintenance allocating out less cost to GRF departments that utilize its services. As fleet maintenance runs a favorable variance in areas such as labor and fuel costs, it allocates less cost to other departments. Outside services were unfavorable by $454,000, primarily in building maintenance due to unanticipated electrical and lighting repairs at various clubhouses. In addition, janitorial invoices were paid out of outside services. However, the expenses budgeted in repairs and maintenance. I just want to add further that part of our revenue variance is due to, if you look at golf in total, it's down $200,000. And most of that, in fact, is resident greens fees. And we don't know why that's happening, so we're monitoring it, but the golfers have told us they're playing as usual, so I don't know what's going on there, but that may continue until year end. Also, when you look at utilities, we have an unfavorable trend in electric and water. And this board has been looking at ways to mitigate that, but so far we haven't implemented anything big we have to get the Housing Mutual's approval on, and we haven't gotten it yet, but we're working on some items. Okay. Let's move on to slide 4. This slide shows sources of revenue other than the assessments, such as fees and rentals. Year to date, we earned $8.5 million in non-assessment operating fund revenue, as shown on this pie chart. That does not include the facilities fee. We can see that our largest revenue category is broadband services, which is the internet, set-top boxes, ad insertion, and premium channels, followed by golf revenue. Other revenue, which includes a variety of things. And then we have clubhouse rentals and event fees and merchandise sales. These revenue categories offset costs and help keep assessments down. Just want to say merchandise sales are down considerably. Again, that's in the golf area, and we're looking at that closely to see if we can turn it around. All right, let's move on to slide 5. Consistent with prior months, our largest operating fund expense is employee comp and related, followed by outside services expense. Of the 34.6 million, excluding depreciation, these two categories account for 66%, two-thirds of the operating expense. Cable programming fees, insurance, professional legal, utility fee make up the remaining 34%. Go on to slide 6. The reserve and restricted funds adjusted balances are shown here. Starting with the first column on the left, reserve funds have a combined ending balance of $46.4 million. Restricted fund balances have an ending balance of $2.8 million. Included in these totals are contributions received in 2025 through assessments, trust facility fees, and investment earnings. The second column shows the work in progress of $17.1 million for reserves and nil, zero for restricted, reflecting the amounts paid for projects not yet completed. Third column represents resulting adjusted fund balances of $29.3 million for reserves and $2.8 million for restricted. I want to point out that as the Ting project progresses, the reserve balances are going to drop significantly, but still within a prudent amount. But it is going to get lower. And that'll have an effect on the amount we can invest in interest-earning securities. In fact, for this year, though, there is an impact on that in that the securities that we have earning interest are coming in $900,000 under plan. So that's $900,000 less being put into reserves. And that'll probably continue through year end. All right, let's go to slide 7. We have a slide here to show resale history from 2023 to 2025. Community-wide sales totaled 550 year to date. Most of these transactions generate trust facilities fees used as a source of revenue for our services. We're going to talk further about the resale history shortly. Finally, we have slide 8. This listing on this slide gives you an idea where the reserve money is committed. Of the $29.8 million appropriated by the board for various projects and equipment purchases, the remaining encumbrance against our reserves funds is $11 million, primarily for fiber improvements and work at GRF facilities. Remember, we approved $9 million this year for the Ting project. Sorry, you have one more slide. Slide 9, we compare our adjusted fund balances to historical balances for the past 5 years. And it shows that GRF has averaged $30.4 million in reserve funds and $2.8 million in contingent funds. Again, when we keep spending on Ting, spend another $10 million, those bar charts are going to drop. The facilities fund is going to drop considerably in 2026. All right. I believe we have an agenda item about the resale report in September. I don't know if we have a slide for that, but basically it compares this year to last year. Last year at this time, 9 months, we had 596 units resales. This year we're at 550, so it's a 46 unit decline, which is roughly 8%. That's troubling. That's troubling. It may be, as I said, we were $901,000 under plan for 9 months on the facilities fee. We don't see that turning around. So maybe to point out, to answer some of Jim's concerns, that's an uncontrollable item. And we can't really budget it exactly, but it's big money. It's big money. So problem is there really aren't many other ways we can get that money, and we need it. We look at expenses, try to keep them down, but you get it squeezed. So anyway, the other thing that's interesting is that the sales volume was $291 million last year, and this year it's about $270 million. So figuring about a $500,000 per average per resale, that works up to about 42 units. So it's consistent with the 46-unit shortfall, it shows that the pricing isn't moving around very much. So there's nothing really going on in terms of a mix change. And average resale price last year was $538,000 in September. This year it was $454,000. So the lower price units are moving more apparently, and that kind of makes sense. All right, well, that completes my report. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Andy, and thank you for all the great work you've done over the last year and with our finances. I don't think people have an appreciation of how much time Andy has put into being treasurer for us. And all of us on the board know it, but perhaps the community needs to know more about his dedication and his expertise. We have been really gifted and blessed by having him as our treasurer. Thank you, Andy. Yay, all right. Once again. Okay, Ellen, CAC.
We met on October 9th, and we continued to discuss the diligent directors, discuss the recreation policy review. We reviewed it. We still haven't come to a conclusion yet and approved it. We are also reviewing cost recovery policy for the Performing Arts Center. That is on the agenda. And our next meeting, we're dark in November, so our next meeting is December 11th at 1:30 here in the boardroom.
Okay, thank you. Director Bada, Landscape.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we haven't had a landscape meeting since June, so I don't have much to report on that. But moving around, landscape seems to be doing well. Trees are getting trimmed, and our next meeting is going to be on November 17th at 1:30 p.m. in the boardroom.
Okay, thank you. Egon Garthoffner, M&C.
Yeah, we met on October 8th. There were no resolutions no projects were approved. We were just discussing the status of various projects. And the next meeting will be December 10th, where a full recapitulation of all of the projects that were planned for 2025 will be discussed. And the meeting will be at 9:30 in the morning, right here in the boardroom.
And I'll take a moment to certainly sing the praises of Egon and his efforts on M&C to rationalize purchases, to make sure that a very fair and equitable policy has been implemented for procurement and purchasing. He has been dogged in his pursuit of savings on every single level, getting expert opinions from outside, as well as the expert opinions from staff in-house, from every department that had to be examined. So please thank Egon once again for his dedication to M&C and to this board in general. So, well done.
Thank you.
Okay, Gary, anything from Energy?
Nothing. We're waiting now to probably huddle with the mutuals to see what kind of direction they are interested in.
Okay, thank you. All right, next to talk about space planning, we have some forward motion. I'm pleased to say that in our last meeting on October 20th, a motion was made and seconded that we award a design contract for construction of new Building E to provide workspaces for security, landscaping, and maintenance administrative support. And this motion was passed by a vote of 4-1 to nothing. So this is forward progress after many years of study and debate and great labor by many people on this board, on prior boards, prior committees, and so on. So we're finally getting some motion, forward motion on this building. It's still a long way off in the future, but we're taking the steps now, and they're really going to be it's going to be an exciting change for the community and will result in some savings of the rent that we've been paying next door once it finally gets implemented. So that's, the next meeting of this committee is to be determined, but I imagine it'll be in December. Let's see, next we have broadband. Kush, do you want to give that report for Martin?
Sure. This is going to be a short report because I just received a update, and the update says that we did 682 homes so far, to date, I would say, of the new internet being installed in the homes. There's a lot of small little things like, shouldn't be small, it's very important. They're actually working along Calle Aragon and Avenida Sevilla, and installation is being done on time according to them. As you mentioned earlier, every install is different and it has to be done properly to make sure that it is appealing to the inside and the outside of the manor. So that's about all I have to say right now. Our next meeting for broadband is going to be January 14th, 2026.
Yeah, I think that was revised this morning to December 10th. Martin emailed from Indonesia to say that it was much too long to wait, so that's been revised to December.
Okay, that's awesome.
December 10th, yeah,
Okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
December 10th is a good date.
Yeah, okay. Mobility and vehicles, Gary.
Nothing new to report from since the last time, but moved the meeting from tomorrow out to December because we're in the flux of all of the new members. And
Right.
It didn't seem to make sense to have a meeting with people that weren't going to be here.
That's right. Okay. Okay, SCAC, Egon?
Yeah. We met October 22, and again, nothing was voted on, nothing was approved. We just discussed the safety parameters and a little bit on gate hiring, gate attendant hiring, and on camera locations. And our next meeting will be in February, and it'll be February 25th, 1:30 here in the boardroom.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ellen, traffic hearings?
Okay, traffic hearings continue. Most of the violations are stop signs, and we have eliminated traffic schools. So that has been a big contributor to people maybe following some of the rules. I don't know. But these are closed meetings, and our next one is November 13th in the boardroom at 9:30. Oh, I read the wrong one. That is October 15th, okay, in the boardroom at 9:30. At 9, sorry. That's closed.
Okay. All right. Member hearings, executive member hearings, we are so well behaved and compliant that actually I just got notice that we will not need to have a meeting this month of November. So I guess our next one's going to be in December. So thank you all for behaving ourselves. Disaster prep, Ellen?
We had a great shakeout, and I think there was success there. We had another meeting for the board, so we weren't able to participate. But the next meeting for disaster preparedness is November 25th at 9:30 in the boardroom. Thank you.
Okay. IT, Kush? Kush is not here at the moment. Okay. All right. Does anyone else have a report from that committee? Otherwise, apparently they met on Halloween And next meeting will be December 26th. I know that tomorrow in the VMS board meeting, there will be an extensive report for directors to hear from Chuck Holland. So, all right, future agenda items. Next, all matters listed in future agenda. On 28-day public review, no action will be taken by the board on these agenda items at this meeting, and we will act on them in the future. One is, of course, the trust facilities fee that was just approved, and another one is the El Toro Water District Techite replacement project update. At this point, director's comments. Andy, we'll start with you.
I'd like to thank everyone for for letting me work with you. It's been a pleasure, and I know a lot, but I learned some stuff working with you people, and I think that's terrific. I'll be around, so if you need an ear, just call me or email me. But again, thank you for allowing me to be on this board. It's been very enjoyable. Thank you.
Okay, Egan?
I don't have any comments right now, thank you.
All right, Ellen?
I'll take Egon's time. Okay. Okay. I would like to say a few things. First of all, I'd like to thank Allison. You led with such calm strength. You never hesitated to find answers or reach for good counsel, and that gave this board confidence when things got tough. Your balance of grace and courage kept us moving forward. Thank you for believing in us. I'd also like to talk about the governance and oversight here on this board. We selected a new president midterm. We interviewed and hired a new lawyer midterm. We established an inspector general position, but Egon took the ropes and contributed his strength for accountability and transparency in various departments. We enhanced the RFP program oversight, including a couple of the facilities. We revised the board handbook, clarified director conduct and discipline policy, which belongs to GRF board. We are oversight on the reserve study. We had discussions with Sean Anderson on it when he was here on site in person. The board recognized the ongoing need for an inspector general and facilities manager oversight structure, but we pretty much took those assignments, especially Egon, on ourselves to perform some of these inspector general facility manager needs. Andy Ginocchio appointed treasurer, succeeding Bill Cowan. Andy was a significant contributor to GRF's 2025 financial reforms. Thank you, Andy. Steve and Gary revised purchasing policy and vehicle replacement strategy and extending the EV lifespan from 5 to 10 years. Am I right? Okay. Adopted no replacement rule for vehicles under 7 to 8 years old. Okay. We've just today adjusted the trust facility fee to better reflect cost recovery goals, which we are in a 28-day. The CAC conducted detailed recreation budget analysis to improve fiscal accountability. We sustained 4 corporate meetings, rejecting EV programs, solar, building E, and planning, and Steve's recall. We advanced the big thing, the broadband fiber network. We completed Building E structural engineering assessment. We formed an energy ad hoc committee, Gary, identified all Southern California Edison meters and connected facilities. Gary approved for direct access with SCE, uncovered unnecessary expense of golf cart charging during Tier 3 pricing, should charge golf carts after 9 p.m. Retained an electrical contractor. He performed some diagnostic testing and cost estimates for some facility electrical repairs. We saved money there. We're in the process of resolving some things with Clubhouse One and the fitness center. We defunded the gate automation and $674,000 in non-essential equipment projects. We evaluated the solar initiatives to decrease rising electricity costs, but it was denied. EV parking rate changes were approved. We directed structural and management review of some facilities led by Andy Ginocchio, so that we could decrease some of the shared cost and long-term sustainability. Andy championed detailed review of recreation facilities, equestrian, golf, and club spaces. We clarified recreation policy. VMS Recreation Department operates under GRF authority. GRF reserves rights to review all records. We approved a music room hybrid model. It is on a 6-month trial. We introduced, not yet implemented, a CAC booking fee and PAC policy revisions to advance cost recovery and equitable use. We defunded a golf driving range turf project. I don't think we defunded that, Andy. I think we talked about it yesterday. We did lose money when we put the turf in, right? Okay. And authorized a PAC sound system, or completed, because I don't think this board authorized it. I think it was Juanita's, or anyway, we completed the PAC sound system replacement for performance. We eliminated traffic school to streamline services. We directed staff to release RFPs for certain projects. Midterm presidential transition and ensured continuity and stability. And that will be, let me see, I think I have one more little page, and then I will have taken everybody's time. What? Kush? Okay.
Why are you saying all this today, right now? It should be done.
This is the end of our year.
You can do this at the organization meeting day.
Oh, I'm doing it now. Okay, okay.
But
we requested termination of non-essential leases and to relocate some departments to the administration building for efficiency. And we demonstrated board unity and resistance among some pressures from management and department leadership. Thank you, Allison, for leading us through some of this. And Kush, thank you. You were very significant in the ting, and you're significant in the whole operation. Thank you. I'm sorry I took everybody's time. Okay.
Whoa, what a history. Did we do all that? It was the team. It wasn't one person. It wasn't two people. It was the team, and that's the important.
Helen, you may have to do this again.
I hope to. Marie?
On the day, the last day of the board meeting, the organization day, you may have to do it again.
Okay.
Okay?
You want to hear it again?
I missed a whole bunch of it when I was in the restroom.
Marie?
I think it's
Well, first of all, I would like to thank Ellen for doing that. And second, I would like to, what she read seemed lengthy, but that was only the top line of what was done. It has been an honor to serve on this board with this particular set of minds, each of them having depth in one section or another. Each of them taking responsibility to dive deep, not just, okay. This has been an exceptional board in my mind, and I want to thank each of you, especially Allison and Kush, for leading us in some really important things. And that's what I want to say. Thanks.
Top that, Gary.
No. I'm the detail nerd. This may sound like we're pounding on, or piling on, or whatever, but Allison is a great administrator. And we certainly hope that we haven't seen the end of her.
Well, thank you.
And question to bounce to you. I almost swear that we authorized a review of the condition of Clubhouse 2 Annex, and it has just seemed to die. I haven't heard anything back on that.
I think we paused that.
We paused doing the work,
Right,
but I don't think we paused the study to tell us what the shape of that place was.
Yeah.
Could you check on that?
Yes, we can follow up and get back to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, I'll just double up on what Marie said. This has been a great board, and people have, we haven't gotten the knives out once.
Jim? Okay, Manar?
Well, it has been an honor to serve on this board. I was elected almost 1 year ago, and I hope to continue. And I appreciate the leadership of Kush and Ellison, as everybody has said. And you people are, do the action and go fast and get the thing resolved. So good luck to the new board, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Kush?
Are we on the director's comments?
Director's comments, believe it or not. Yeah.
So, sorry, I missed the first part of it. And I guess this has been an interesting year with all the different changes and the stuff that we have accomplished. Thank you to you all, people who are going to end their term, and also to the people who are aspiring to come back. So, and also to John, welcome from the mutual.
Jim.
Mutual, sorry. And too much has happened in this 1 year.
Yeah, that was quite a history that Ellen read. It was amazing. Yeah. Yeah, right. All right, and with that, is there a motion to recess? Okay, all right. We will recess now and resume at closed session. It's at 10 minutes to 12. I think that's, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Would she say that?
Yeah, we're early, yeah.
This one is shut down, and we're adjourning to close.
Yeah, you got to run home for Lacey?
No, I have a lady.